Hi everyone, welcome back to the electromagnetic theory. This is another one unit of a BSc 4th semester physics. Right. So here, yesterday we have gone through the syllabus and what are the points we are going to discuss in this particular um, electromagnetic theory unit. Right. So as that particular first part of this unit was mathematical background. So I wanted to discuss about the mathematical background of for this electromagnetic theory. To understand this particular concept of electromagnetic theory, we need to understand all these mathematical tools which we are going to use in this particular unit, right? So first, among all those concepts, first I want to discuss about a gradient of a scalar function. Gradient of a scalar function. So you already know about what exactly mean by scalar is, right? You know about what is meant by scalar. Scalar is a physical quantity which has only only magnitude, right? Magnitude. So those functions which have only magnitude, those physical quantities are called as a scalar quantities or a scalar functions. Scalar quantity or scalar scalar function. Here, if I define now about the function means it may be a phi of x or f of x. If I consider this one as a phi of x, here this phi is nothing but it's a scalar function. It's a scalar because it has only a magnitude. If it has only magnitude, then we call this one as a scalar function. So as it is, this phi is the only function of x here. So if I want to write any function, if it depends on both all three coordinate systems x, y, z, we represent this function as generally phi is a function of r, where r is nothing but it's a position vector. R is nothing but a position vector, right? Now, in this particular concept, let us consider a point P in a scalar field. So let the point P in a scalar field having a having a position vector vector r, right? Position vector r. So let r be the vector here which has both magnitude and directions, or vectors we represent as r vector is equal to x I cap plus y j cap plus k cap, sorry, z k cap, right? Z into k cap, where x, y, z, these are coordinates, and I, j, k are I cap and j cap and k cap. All these three are called as unit vectors. Unit vectors of that particular coordinate, right? Whether it may, if it is x coordinate, then we call I cap as a unit vector for that coordinate, and j cap and k cap respective to that particular y and z, right? And the value of the scalar field at that particular point, so I'll consider for each x, y, z coordinate systems, let this phi of r be the scalar scalar function function, right? Then that the same f of phi of r can be written as, in all these three coordinate systems, phi of x, y, z. Now this phi is a function of three coordinate systems, where this phi of x, y, z is a is continuous and a differentiable function, and a differentiable function differentiable function okay, and it is a function of all three independent space coordinates. Hence it's a function uh, of all three independent independent space coordinates. Here these x, y, and z. All these three are called as space coordinates. Space coordinates. Along with this, another one terms comes that if we represent any coordinate system in terms of x, y, z, and t, then we call this one as a, here this is called as a space one, and this is called as the time one. So then we call, if any space coordinates along with its time coordinate, if you represent any system, then we call this one as a space-time coordinate, space-time coordinate system. Right? So this is a fourth dimension. We consider time as a fourth dimension. But here we are going to only represent all the physical parameters only in case of space coordinate system. Here x, y, z. So this is a Cartesian coordinate system. Cartesian coordinate system. Right? System. Here the function depends on all three parameters, that is x, y, and z. Right? Now, the partial derivative of this function phi, the partial derivative of the function phi with respect to x is given by, that is d phi by dx, So if you take the partial derivative means, so keeping other quantities zero other than upon with respect to which you are going to differentiate. So as this phi is a function of x, y, z, all three coordinates, if you want to take the partial derivative, it should be a partially derivative, means it depends on partially on a single variable, because it depends on all these three variables. With respect to a single variable, it is partial dependent. So it is partial depends on x, partial depends on y, partial depends on z. That's why to have a complete derivative of this one, we need to differentiate with all three coordinate systems. But if you want to take only partial derivative, so it means with respect to which quantity you are going to differentiate, that at that time, if you want to differentiate this one partially with respect to particular quantity, that is dx, we write dou phi of that function divided by dou x. That means keeping y and z constant, in this function, we are going to differentiate only with respect to x. That's why it is called as a partial one. So this is called as a partial derivative, right? So means if you take the partial derivative of phi, this is dou phi by dou x. Dou is nothing but partial derivative representation, not it's a full derivative. Dou phi by dou x, that is equal to, this measures the rate of change of phi. It is nothing but this measures a rate of change of phi at the point, at the point P along the x-axis, means this represents about only the variation of that function along x-axis if you take a partial, and if you take the partial derivative along y, then that can be written as dou phi by dou y. Then it also tells that it tells about the change, that is rate of change of that function, phi along only y direction, y along only y axis, right? So means this partial derivative or a derivative with respect to a single variable among all these three, it tells about a variation of that particular function along that particular axis with respect to which you are going to differentiate. Here I am differentiating with respect to x, here I am differentiating with respect to y. That's why here I can define that a function will vary along that particular axis if you are taking a particular derivative. Then therefore similarly, if you take the for z axis, we write this one as dou phi by dou z. Then similarly, that is nothing but its variation of phi. So that is a rate of change is nothing but a variation, rate of change of phi along z axis. z-axis, right? Now, therefore, the rate of variation of this phi along all these three coordinate systems, that is variation of this function phi along all these three x, y, z coordinate systems is completely different, because the variation of this function phi along x is different, then y is different, then z is different. If you take the variation along all these three coordinate systems at a time, means it tells about that phi is not only varying in a single direction, it varies in all these three directions with a different rate, or depends on this individual coordinate systems. Therefore, the total variation of a scalar function, therefore the total variation of a scalar function along the different directions, along the different directions in a vector space, in a vector space vector space is known as gradient of a scalar function, is known as gradient of a scalar function, right? So this is called as a gradient of a scalar function, means that is a variation of a total of scalar function along these three different directions in a vector space, because we are going to define that a particular point along which it is varying, means we are going to define the variation in a particular direction, means it should be a vector one, but the direction means it is a vector one, direction means it's a vector one, right? So that space should be a vector space, but in that vector space we are going to define a particular phi for x comma y comma z is now a scalar one means you are going to take the variation of this scalar function along the directions of a vector space. That's why it is called as a gradient. Gradient means it's a rate of a change in that particular direction, is called as a gradient. So here that gradient we write as, that is a grad. Simply we write gradient as a grad of phi. Grad of phi is equal to its variation of that same function along x-axis in that direction plus variation of or rate of change of that function, rate of change of that function along y is dou phi by dou y, that is along the y direction, that we write this one as j cap, plus similarly along that variation of that the same function along z is given by dou phi by dou z, along z direction we write that one as a k cap. Here this I, j, k are unit vectors that they tell about the direction along which it is varying, right? Similarly, now if I take the phi from this whole derivative, that I get dou by dou x I cap plus dou by dou I j cap plus dou by dou z of k cap, right? If I take the phi outside, it becomes like this, right? That is nothing but a grad of phi, grad phi, right? Similarly, now this particular function, that is dou by dou x of I cap and dou by dou I of j cap, dou by dou z of k cap, this is completely a vector operator. This is called as a operator. This total function is called as now operator. Okay, so operator means it is a particular function which can completely take away or can completely define about the function phi, in which it is varying, in which direction it is varying, along which direction it is, its parameters are dependent. So it tells about the whole character of that function, right? So that's why this is called as a del phi, means del is now operator that operator is given by this one. Now I can write this where this del can be written as del, that is grad, or it's called grad operator, right? So grad operator is can be written as dou by dou x of I cap plus dou by dou y of j cap plus dou by dou z of k cap. So this is what exactly the grad operator which can be applied on a particular scalar function in a vector space. In that vector space will help us to understand in which direction or in which particular axis that the scalar function is a variable, in which that particular scalar function is varying or changing. That's why this gradient is nothing but a directional derivative. Directional derivative, because it is this operator, you can look at this operator, it is a derivative along particular directions. It is in a vector space, right? So in that vector space, in along which direction that function is varying, that can be defined by this grad function. That's why it is that grad function or gradient is also called as a directional derivative. Directional derivative, because it tells about the direction along which that function is varying. So this is the main particular important mathematical tool to understand how that in particular vector space, particular physical quantity, that is scalar physical quantity, will vary along all these three coordinate systems if you consider that one in a Cartesian coordinate system. So in the next class, we are going to define about a physical interpretation of a gradient. How you are going to interpret this particular gradient function, then how we are going to apply on a particular function, scalar function, right? So that we are going to discuss in the next class. Thank you.